Kyle, and welcome to part 2 of our Best and Worst Summerslams. This is actually, we didn't do this with the WrestleMania series, but I figured this is kind of long. It probably would have been long anyways, but
yeah,
whatever. We did it in 2 parts. This is the worst of. We did the best of, so let's do the worst of. I mean, there's not too many that are like god awful.
Right, yeah.
There's kind of shit. I mean, there's stuff that could have left out, but at the same time, you know, it's not that bad. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, in order for something to really be put on a worst list, you'd have to really either, like, hate the whole show altogether, or have something you really don't like about the show to make it the worst. But because over the years, SummerSlams have been actually fairly good, to pick the worst is, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting, that's for sure. So this is pretty interesting. Again, not the worst, but it's just kind of, I mean, and it's worst in a funny way. You got these two egos in, not to beat a dead horse, Hulk Hogan versus Shawn Michaels. And that was kind of like, holy shit. Can you not take two egos and just like... It's funny how it came about though, because Shawn Michaels hadn't been a heel for a long time. And, you know, he's a changed man, and so... Kind of like turns on Hogan's Sweet Chin Music. He's left off of Raw, goes out, and you have Michaels looking at the body of Hogan. And then it just goes from there. You have Shawn Michaels do a parody of the Larry King Live. And
that was funny.
So you have, it's kind of like having Hogan went back in the old school WWF days when they were doing Billionaire Ted and the Huckster and the Nacho Man. So you got Shawn Michaels dressed up as Hogan, and he's got the Walker and the brother. And then, of course, the cryptic message to Hogan afterwards. But, you know, neither one of them wanted to sell for each other. So it was like Shawn Michaels trying his best to overact the matches and basically have Hogan go over. So, but you also have Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero in god-awful match. The custody of Dominic. So basically, yeah, Eddie Guerrero turns heel. And then you got this stupid ass angle with Rey's real son. And you get Vicky involved and whatever. It was dumb. I hated it. You know, but obviously you knew that Rey Mysterio was going to win.
Yeah.
So, you got Benoit, who defeated Orlando Jordan for the U.S. title.
In extremely fast fashion.
Oh, yeah. You get one of those things where... And it's a shame that we're never going to get to celebrate that, because you had... Well, it was more so with MVP. And you had these vignettes where, you know, Benoit would do something that's less than the time that he beat MVP for the U.S. title. And so that kind of happened with Jordan there. And, I mean, that was a pretty good match. But at the same time, this is the worst list, so... I mean, there's not a lot of bad. It's just those two matches that I mentioned. But what did you think?
I mean, okay, you take the aspect of Hogan and Michaels and the whole Larry King vignette thing, and you know what led up to the match, and all that other shit you want to talk about. Set that to the side. An overview of the match as a whole. It actually wasn't that bad of a match, to be honest.
I especially enjoyed Michaels' tamer heel role. Like, he did a promo in the ring, and of course he was teasing the Bret Hart thing. And then of course Bret didn't come out, and Michaels laughed like Michaels does, and then, you know, it was fun. It was fun to watch that. So yeah, I mean, a lot of good came of that, but again, it was still, like I said, it was a funny, terrible pay-per-view. Well, and then you have Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero and that match that they had, but other than that, you know, Chris Jericho versus John Cena was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, John Cena retained the title, but their whole thing where, you know, it was the hip-hop guy versus the rock and roll guy.
Basically.
And so it's like, they kind of had like a battle of the bands type thing where Jericho would sing with Fozzy or whatever, and then you have John Cena do his rap. And, I mean, that was an interesting way to look at that. So, I mean, you knew that John Cena was going to retain. Now, it'll always be a shame that, despite the undisputed champion, Chris Jericho never really touched the WWF title. So, anyways.
Well, to be frank, see, the one thing for me for this is Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio always had amazing matches with each other. The chemistry, the moveset, the high flying, all that other stuff. They work so well off of each other. I really think they could have just left the whole custody thing out of it. But it went the way they went, and we ended up with what we got, even though the match was pretty good.
Yeah, it was, and it's just a stupid angle, and I don't know why Vince thought it was a good idea, you know. It was the time where the company was, and I honestly, and this is the truth, it's honestly made me want to stop watching wrestling again. Because I thought this was the dumbest shit I have ever seen. You know. You think your dad hates the company now? You know, back then it was the worst.
Yeah.
Between 2005 and 2011, this product was like a hit and miss bullshit thing. But I digress. This was kind of, one of the worst Summerslams in my view.
For me, honestly, for the worst, I really don't know. Because, like, each SummerSlam you look at, to find one or several that was the worst, I mean, you're nitpicking.
Yeah.
To be honest.
And that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I mean, when we did the best and worst of WrestleMania, it was kind of easy.
Yeah.
But this is like, I mean, you got some bad matches. It wasn't all terrible.
Right, no.
To be honest with you,
Yeah. So, I mean, why don't we come forward a little more? We talked about 05. let's go. Okay, how about this 2011?
Okay.
And now, I gotta actually remember Dolph Ziggler against Alex Riley. You had John Morrison, Kofi Kingston, Rey Mysterio against R-Truth, Miz, and Del Rio, Mark Henry and Sheamus, Kelly and Eve Torres,
Daniel Bryan and Wade Barrett.
Beth Phoenix and Taya, Wade Barrett and Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton and Christian, and then Punk and Cena, and then Del Rio and Punk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is because. This is because Del Rio cashed in for the title.
Yes.
So yeah, CM Punk versus John Cena. And you know, it's kind of funny how you look at Roman Reigns and John Cena and their feud. I think that CM Punk, despite everything that has been said about him, I think has had one of the better feuds with John Cena. They played off each other pretty well. Besides Chris Jericho and John Cena, these two definitely played well off each other, and I think that it's a shame things went down the way they did. I think this particular one, I'm not too sure, but I don't know if this is when you had the double championship title, unless that was when it came back for Money in the Bank.
Possibly, yeah.
But, you know, that being said, it was still an interesting feud. This match was good too. This Del Rio cashing in was interesting, and then he went on to have plenty of good feuds with Edge and all that other shit too. I mean, we talk about Del Rio, we talk about Andreas Cien Almas being the better version of Del Rio.
Yes.
But this was pretty interesting. You know, with that, you got Randy Orton defeating Christian. So, I'm not going to do another rant on that. We already talked about that to death. I mean, let's just face it. Randy Orton is a fucking crybaby! I mean, okay, so let's talk about the fact that Randy Orton said, okay, I wanted Christian to hold the title. I didn't want to win, but he did it anyways. You know, some people stand up to their boss, but I guess it is what it is. Christian should have had a chance. He should have had a chance at the title. A longer run. Edge retired. This was kind of like my best friend won the world title, and then they had to take it off of him. And fuck you, Vince, for doing that. And fuck you, Randy Orton. I don't care if you didn't want to do it. You did it anyways. Christian should have held that title for as long as he could, but nope. He won the title back as a heel. Because why? Who knows? Christian has a face. It could have worked out well. But no, we had to have Randy Orton spoil it. And it doesn't matter what anybody says. It's just shitty. It was really the worst thing I could think of. And the fact that Christian, I don't know, it just really rubbed me the wrong way. And it still does. Despite what I heard, it still rubs me the wrong way. Christian losing as much as he did to Randy Orton pisses me off even more. I don't know. This is bullshit. It was complete bullshit. And, you know, even with Triple H as the special guest referee, obviously we knew that was going to be in Randy Orton's favor anyways. You know, it's shit like that that really makes me wonder, you know, who's got who's back. Sorry, I just had to do that.
Yeah.
Mark Henry defeated Sheamus by countout. Again, I'm not a fan of countouts at all. But interesting to see chocolate and vanilla.
No, chocolate and mayonnaise.
Ew. Disgusting.
Oh, I mean, fuck. With how dark Mark Henry is and how pasty pale Sheamus is, holy fuck.
Yeah.
All you need is one other black dude to have a fucking ice cream sandwich or an Oreo cookie.
Yeah, a whoopie pie.
Yeah.
We're going to hell. So, Wade Barrett and Daniel Bryan was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Wade Barrett has to be the most underrated wrestlers in WWE. I mean, he's doing better in another promotion as someone else. But it's like, you know, they could have given him the title. Wade Barrett could have been the first WWE British-born champion.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but they screwed it. Like, oh, you know, you can't. You could be the Intercontinental Champion all you want, but no, you can't touch this title. I mean, I guess that was a good thing in a way, because that was a god-awful spinning belt.
Nah.
But, yeah, 2011 was an interesting year.
Mm.
I mean, that was also when we lost Randy Savage, and, you know, I lost my other grandfather, and it was kind of just an interesting year. And that was, I think, the first time they had a Money in the Bank match.
Yes.
At WrestleMania, so yeah, fucking weird. So let's go a year before, and this was, again, I wasn't really watching the product, so I didn't know a lot that was going on, but I'm glad I didn't. But I did see a house show with my brother in Kingston, and so that was basically trying to figure out who the fuck everyone was. But yeah, this was like the Nexus, and you know, the show was originally called Next, turned into NXT eventually. But yeah, you got guys like Wade Barrett, Darren Young, Justin Gabriel, Michael
McGillicuddy,
Michael Trevor,
David Otunga, Heath Slater, Justin Gabriel, Michael Tarver, and Skip Sheffield, and Wade Barrett.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know, Skip Sheffield is right back.
Yes. Once the Nexus split up, he got injured, was out for a little bit. The Nexus parted the seas, as they say, and then he came back sometime later as the Ryback, or Cryback if you want.
Yeah. But you know, you got these guys, and they took on Bret Hart. You got Edge, John Cena, John Morrison,
R-Truth, Daniel Bryan, and Jericho.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan came back and was the last member of the team. And you know, a lot of people keep saying that John Cena buried the Nexus. And he could have... I mean, yeah, they had a lot of stupid angles, but it was like... When you think about it, yeah, they broke up, but they all branched out into something new. You had Wade Barrett have his Intercontinental title reigns. Ezekiel Jackson, who... whatever he did. Actually, he was Brian Kendrick's manager at one point. Darren Young, of course, David Otunga, who wrestled for a while, and now he's doing the pre-show commentary. And I have Darren Young, of course, who was in the Primetime Players, and now not quite sure where the hell he was.
Yeah, I think he left or something.
Skip Ryback Sheffield is like gone now.
Yeah.
Doing other promotions. Was Mason Ryan in there?
No, this is before Mason Ryan.
Okay. So Welsh Batista wasn't in this one.
Welsh Batista, really?
Yeah, I think that, you know, Wade Barrett is one that should have had the WWE title at some point. Or hell, even the world title. I mean, yeah, he got the King of the Ring, but it just wasn't the same after Bad News Barrett.
Yeah, that was the beginning of the decline.
We got Rey Mysterio, who lost to Kane. And of course, Rey Mysterio was the world champion.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he didn't have a very good title run, but this was all interesting because, you know, the first time he won it was for Eddie Guerrero, and it didn't last very long, and then he had this feud, and, you know, it was the first time Kane held a championship, you know, in years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it was like 11 years, you know, winning the WWF title and then losing it to Stone Cold.
Mm.
You know, I bitch about, and I'll talk about that later, something else. You know, Stone Cold could have waited, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Melina defeated Alicia Fox to become the Divas champion. So,
alright, let's talk about a rivalry that really was interesting. It started off in a dramatic fashion, if you will, and just ended up being more dramatic and unusual and bizarre and all these other things.
2015.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was very interesting.
Well, you get one of the biggest guys. Well, first, let's talk about WrestleMania 30. You have the biggest loss in the history of WrestleMania, Undertaker's streak. And, you know, you could argue and say that Brock Lesnar shouldn't have been the one to break the streak, but it is what it is. Just how things work. And then, of course, you gotta get Undertaker get his revenge.
Mm-hmm.
So this was kind of interesting because I feel like they didn't really solve anything in this match.
No, not really.
So it was really pointless. I mean, the whole backlash, the whole setup to SummerSlam was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it was a shitty finish.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they had another match, and it went to Taker, but it wasn't anything interesting. I mean, once the streak ended, it was like all hope was lost.
Mm.
And, you know, instead of having Taker leave, or go back to the American Badass or whatever.
Mm.
And maybe that's the wrong thing, but you had him come back, face Bray Wyatt, face Shane McMahon,
Mm.
face Roman Reigns, and then retire. Well, kind of, sort of. I mean, he had to come back to be dead again. But the guy definitely is a legend. It doesn't matter if he lost the streak or not. You know, and then you got Brock Lesnar. Now, say what you will, Brock Lesnar wrestled before he did MMA.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it is. So, to me, he is still a professional wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you look at his shit in Japan. You look at the
NCAA.
So, there it is. I mean, so you can't say that he's an outsider looking in.
No, not in the least.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you really want to look at the overall rivalry between Taker and Brock, the 03, 04, 04, 05 version of that rivalry was much better than the 2015 version.
yeah.
I mean, you had, like, Brock against Taker and Hell in a Cell and Brock against Taker, and it was a chain match.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. So, I mean, there's that. You also got Kevin Owens who defeated Cesaro. You know, these two guys definitely have a history together with Ring of Honor and whatever else they were in together. But, yeah, I mean, Kevin just coming into the main roster and Cesaro already being a few years in, and they're both very good, and it's a shame that, I mean, not for Kevin. Kevin's definitely been kind of a Grand Slam champion. I mean, he hasn't really had the WWE title, per se. It was more so the Universal title, which I guess makes sense, but, you know, Cesaro should have had his by now.
Yeah, definitely.
And now that the bar is back, let's see what happens. You know, give Cesaro something else. I mean, it's about due time for the guy. He's been in the wrestling business for fucking ever.
Just about.
And so it's like, what do you got to lose? Like, seriously. You know? And it's just, it doesn't make sense to me. But you also have Seth Rollins defeating John Cena, you know, to become the U.S. champion. And this was kind of a dumb idea, but I can see that they were trying to play like Warrior Hogan with the champion versus champion thing. I'm not sure. This was kind of dumb and you know, you look at after WrestleMania Backlash, I think it was. Or no, it wasn't Backlash. I can't remember what it was. You have John Cena get the title back, and then you have, or no, he got the title back, but Sting,
yes,
didn't beat Seth Rollins.
Right.
Unfortunately, that was kind of a dud. So this was, you know, I mean, the feud was interesting. This was, again, the authority thing, and I really hated it because the end of the year, it was like, child, you know, role play. Here, bring back the authority, or I'm gonna stop this guy's arm. I'm gonna bring back the authority. And then, you know, well, whatever. But, you know, this was kind of fun to see these two go at it, I guess. You had Ryback, who defeated the Big Show and The Miz. You know, I could say whatever you want about Ryback, but at least they did give him the Intercontinental title. You have Neville, who I wish would come back.
Neville and Stephen Amell against King Barrett and Stardust.
Yeah.
At the Red Arrow and the Green Arrow against King and the
Stardust. You know, it's too bad that Neville left. I mean, I don't know, it's kind of, yeah, I don't understand why I left, but, you know, he was one of the best cruiserweights, you know, the only good cruiserweight at the time, before 205 got good.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's too bad, you know. And I mean, the less I say about his feud with Austin Aries, the better. But it was like, you know, you'll never be on my level. So it sucks. But now he's gone and doing something else. Who knows if he'll come back. But yeah, it was one of the best. I'm not sure where his protege was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, this was an interesting one, you know, again, not the best year, but there are certainly some highlights. speaking of god awful pay-per-views of SummerSlam, you've got 1996 and kinda weird. You got Mankind and Undertaker in a
Boiler Room Brawl.
which, well, yeah, it was alright. I think it could have been better, but for the time, I guess it was not as bad as I thought. Who knows? I mean, I'll have to watch that again. You have Jerry Lawler, who defeated Jake Roberts. Now, this feud was tasteless. Because, I mean, you had Jake Roberts come back. You know, he's been sober for a little while. You know, and he was a little bloated and out of shape. And got the feud with Jerry Lawler. And he's doing the bar stool thing. And shoving whiskey in Jake's face and all that kind of shit. But, I mean, this was, you know, Jerry Lawler win. And, you know, it was kind of, the feud eventually ended with the DDT for, you know, Jerry Lawler's troubles. And it was a tasteless feud.
Yeah.
Of course, you got Owen Hart defeating Salvio Vega. And, again, you know, I'm trying to figure out where Salvio Vega was. I thought I saw him in the Kingston house show versus Gold Dust, but other than that, I'm not sure what he's doing now.
Probably wrestling in Puerto Rico or something like that.
Well, yeah, this is interesting. The pre-show is Steve Austin versus Yokozuna. And you look at Stone Cold Steve Austin in his early career as Stone Cold, and he's got the little mustache, and he's not quite, you know, giving fingers or doing, you know, vulgar things, but...
Yeah, this was still in the time where it was figuring the character out still.
Yeah. But Steve Austin won this match. Of course, Owen Hart defeated Salvio Vega. You have Psycho Sid defeating British Bulldog. You know, of course, the cream of the crop, the main event, Big Van Vader versus Shawn Michaels. Yeah, I think Jim Cornette has a good feud, a good rant for that. And I couldn't agree more. I mean, I know that when WCW wrestlers come over to WWE and they get the shit show, the shit treatment, I think out of all of them, Ric Flair got, and yeah, Ric Flair was originally a WCW guy. He got the better treatment out of mostly everybody. Okay, maybe Sid. But the fact of the matter is, Big Van Vader, you know, is the guy that could have held the title.
Oh, absolutely.
You had no fucking reason to have the guy lose opportunities, you know. And this match made me fucking sick. Because here you have Shawn Michaels, who's still an asshole, who still is a pill-popping piece of shit. And, you know, just kicking Vader and telling him to move and just all this bullshit that happened during the match. And couldn't even drop the strap to Vader, you know. And it's really a fucking shame because he could have been the champion for at least a little while. There's a lot of feuds he had that he could have had. I mean, Vader was in the WWE a lot more relevant than he was in WCW. I mean, WCW, he was taken more seriously, being a WCW champion and all that shit, so that was cool. I mean,
yeah,
it's just too bad that WWE or WWF at the time didn't give two shits about him, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they didn't push him harder, but just ended up being that way.
I mean, it sucks. It just, what could have been. But,
Oh, no doubt.
yeah. I think that Sean was just a fucking dick.
Yeah.
I should be going off on him, but I think I've done that already. It's just a shame, that's all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, SummerSlam 1996, not the greatest. It's bad. That's all I can say. It was just bad.
So SummerSlam 2009, we got Beth Phoenix winning a Battle Royal. You got Rey Mysterio and Dolph Ziggler, Montez Vontavious Porter, MVP against Jack Swagger, Jericho against Crime Time, Kane against Khali. That rivalry was interesting. You got DX against Legacy.
Oh, yeah.
Christian against William Regal, Randy Orton and Cena, and then Punk against Jeff Hardy in a TLC match. Yeah, Kane and Great Khali, that was certainly a unique rivalry, let's say. Because you got the bigger guy from India and the big guy that is the deranged, psychopathic
Demon.
Yeah, going against each other, and there was a peace offering thing. Or no, that was a completely different rivalry. Never mind. Yeah, that was Ali and Big Show. Yeah.
Well, the thing too is that, as much as Khali was used as the big goofball love machine guy, he was a legit wrestler. The guy definitely wrestled in Japan, had some matches, unfortunately killed a guy. You have him star in some movies, and definitely one of the more interesting, I think, not since Andre the Giant, even. The guy who was, you look at the Big Show, and yeah, he was a really good giant, but I think that Khali definitely played the badass motherfucker that, had all these scars on him from the Punjabi prison matches, and it was pretty cool. And yeah, I think those matches were pretty interesting. Yeah, they might have been phony, but you have the first time that Jinder Mahal come in and be the manager of Khali, heel. Then Ranjan Singh comes in later. Just kind of, and then after that, they kind of messed up his character a little bit. So he's no longer the threat, and that's kind of too bad.
Yeah.
But then, this match with Kane, you look at the matches he had with Undertaker, and it was like pretty fucking cool. This kind of feud was really good as well. You just have to, you're looking at Kane as the guy that definitely won this match. I don't know how, but yeah, there it is. You got Randy Orton and John Cena, and their feud, was great. Whether it was for the WWE title or the world title or whatever. It's just a shame that they never wrestled at WrestleMania for the title.
Right, yeah.
That was another missed opportunity. Again, fuck you, Vince. You have CM Punk derate Jeff Hardy because Jeff Hardy is the guy that does drugs and leads the extreme lifestyle, and CM Punk is straight edge, and that was an interesting way for CM Punk to turn heel on Jeff Hardy, And this was not one of the best pay-per-views, I think. It could have been better, but at the same time, it is what it is. I keep saying that, but it is true. I mean, it's just dull. That's all I can say. It's not the worst. It's just dull.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you think.
I mean, a lot of the referees were really good. A lot of them were just, okay, they're there. I really don't know what could have been different to make it not as dull, but
yeah, I know. So we're just gonna do
a couple honorable mentions here.
Yeah, let's talk about this one. This was kind of a cool, and this is again a lead into what I said about Kane not keeping the WWE title. For as long as he should have. Talk about SummerSlam 2000. You had was X-Pac who defeated Road Dogg. This was a time where DX broke up again, I guess. So it was like X-Pac and, was on his own. I think he was with Kane at this point. And then
Most likely, yeah.
you have Road Dogg and Billy Gunn still being New Age Outlaws. And, it's a shame that they cut it off again. It's almost like DX every few years gets back together. But anyways, yeah, so you have Kid Guerrero in China defeating Trish Stratus and Val Venus. And yeah, the two Canadians defeating Latino Heat in China. It's crazy. I mean, it's kind of sad too to think about because, not only Eddie, but China is no longer here. So they're probably like partying and having whatever, something a little sentimental, whatever. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, Val Venus and Trish Stratus, definitely an awesome pairing. I think that Trish, whether she was a face or heel, definitely one of the best wrestlers. I think the first female wrestler that was taken seriously. I don't know if you agree with me on that.
First female wrestler taken seriously, like having good matches.
Yeah, good matches, not being used as a sex. Well, yeah, being used as a sex symbol, but she was never really in a broad panties match.
No.
Or a pillow fight, or
Yeah.
well, I mean, besides the vignettes, but
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we can forget about the whole thing with Vince.
Please.
But yeah, I think she, along with Lita, one of the first, or two of the first women that were taken seriously. Besides Molly Holly and Jazz and all. It was a different time. You want to look at women's revolution today. You have to look at that's where it all started. In my opinion.
Yeah, Trish and Lita really were the ones that helped start getting women's wrestling pointed in the right direction.
You have Taz, who had a feud with Jerry Lawler. And this one went to Jerry Lawler. Well, I kind of sort of remember this. I think that, this was the second time Taz has been in WWE. We had him come in the year before as the ECW champion. So this was kind of interesting to see him in this role. I think Jerry Lawler, definitely younger, kind of could see him in that role and being a good wrestler. Not that he would be a terrible wrestler now, but after that cardiac arrest, I'm kind of scared.
Yeah, really.
But, the guy definitely can, still had it. And Taz, definitely the suplex machine. And you know, it's kind of like, yeah, I think he's got his own wrestling school.
I believe so, yeah.
So that's pretty nice. Shane McMahon and Steve Blackman. So yeah, for the hardcore title, Steve Blackman won. Yeah, I mean, there it is. The first ever TLC match, triple threat. You have that Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys and the Hardys, first time at SummerSlam. Of course, Edge and Christian won. It was kind of funny because I think Edge and Christian won all 3 TLC matches. Because you had the one from WrestleMania 20, you get this one, and then you have... Well, actually, I think this is the first TLC. I think the other... Hell, I can't fucking remember. Then you get WrestleMania 17, and Edge and Christian won all 3 of those matches. So that was cool. But then you get the main event.
Kane versus Undertaker ended in a no contest.
So, yeah, this was an interesting pay-per-view. This was actually the SummerSlam in Minnesota. And yeah, this was the main event. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, Mankind. Let's talk about that later. Of course, Jesse the Body would be the special guest referee. You've got Big Boss Man who lost to Al Snow, and Al Snow becoming a co champion. This feud was pretty fucking cool. I mean, like Al Snow or not, he was a pretty good, funny man in the ring, you know, and the whole thing. Well, even Boss Man, like, Ray Traylor had to be one of the best, like, with the Big Show's daddy. You know, Al Snow.
Pepper.
And Pepper. Yeah, that was fucking cool. Yeah, and, so yeah, this was an enjoyable match. Not, I guess, not something I could have actually put in the last video that we just did, but Ivory defeated Tori, and yeah, so Test defeated Shane McMahon in a street fight, and these guys definitely fucked each other up. That was pretty cool. It's just one of those things where you look at Shane and you think, yeah, he was a pretty cool fighter. I don't want to say wrestler, but, you know, yeah, okay. I mean, the match he had with AJ Styles was definitely an awesome match. But, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. And then, of course, this match, the main event, you know, you have Mankind, you have Stone Cold Steve Austin, you have Triple H, and, you know, it was like, once again, you know, I could talk shit about Hogan and Shawn Michaels, but I'm not gonna pretend that Triple H, Paul Levesque likes to lead his way into politics. You had a match, and Mankind won. And Mankind, of course, was the champion before. Okay, fine, and whatever. The next night on Raw, you had to have Triple H demand a rematch and go over, so he could be the first ever WWF champion. Could you have not waited? Like, seriously? You know, to me that was stupid. But, again, you know, who am I? Like, I mean, Mick Foley definitely, well, he's still two-time WWF champion, so really can't complain.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, let's look at something here. You got Al Snow and Boss Man in a hardcore match. You got Ken Shamrock and Steve Blackman in a Lion's Den weapons match. Of course, you got Test and Shane in the Granite Street fight. And you got probably one of the more odd matches on this card. Rock and Billy Gunn in a Kiss My Ass match.
Oh God, I forgot to mention that. Jesus.
What all my point is though, like you got a street fight, a weapons match, and a hardcore match. Well, three are probably the most grueling matches there could be, and then a match where if one guy loses, he's got to kiss the other dude's ass.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know, I guess. I can't really blame anything on Russo, can you?
Well, no.
But this was actually, again, you say this is the worst pay-per-view list of SummerSlam, but really, this is, again, it was just silly. And, the match that really was a waste of time was the main event, if you think about it. But there it is. So last, you talk about pay-per-views that were kind of like, again, they weren't the worst, I guess, but they were bad, is you have 2003. And again, this year was kind of just a hit and miss. And there was more miss than hit, I guess, if you want to. I mean, WrestleMania 19 was, not my favorite. I had, maybe 2 really good matches I liked, and then it's just this SummerSlam was interesting, and then you have the Survivor Series, which we'll get into in November, when we do the best and worst of Survivor Series. You have this pay-per-view that was just weird. That's all I can say. It was just weird. You had Rey Mysterio defeating Shannon Moore in the pre-show, which, Shannon Moore was, I'm not sure where he is now, but I mean, he was a pretty good wrestler. You had him with Matt Hardy, and it's, you had him with the punk rock gimmick for a while, and that was okay. He went to TNA for a bit. Now, I'm not sure where the hell he is.
Yeah.
You got La Resistance, who defeated the Dudley Boys for the championships. So, I mean, and this was pretty cool. You got these guys that are supposed to be fans, and they're really from Quebec, and they had a really cool gimmick, and it was almost like a modern day British Bulldogs, kind of, with the poodle and all this other stuff, and Rob Conway for some reason joined the team. Robert Conway, and it was an interesting tag team, and kind of underrated, even though they won the titles. But you have Shane McMahon versus Eric Bischoff, and I got this off the TV, and the first time that actually heard someone cuss on a wrestling show, anyways. Because of course this is when Coach turned heel out of nowhere, and you got him and Bischoff trying to team up and beat Shane up, and you got Bischoff going, "Introduce that piece of shit to the stairs," and that was pretty interesting. But Eddie Guerrero defeating Chris Benoit and Tajiri
And Rhino.
For the United States Championship. So that's what it was kind of like. Yeah, I mean, it was alright. I think that it would be better if I rewatched it, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, again, this is not the worst. It's just kind of like, some of the matches were pretty dull.
Yeah, really.
But you've got Kurt Angle, who defeated Brock Lesnar, and this is kind of like Vince McMahon came out and berated Lesnar and pretty much got F5'd on a chair. And I guess Brock Lesnar face turned. Or something like that. So, yeah, I think this was also Vince's birthday, which is kind of interesting. I mean, that's in the aftermath DVD, behind the scenes. Then you had the main event, you know. This was bullshit, you know, and I don't understand why they did this. You know, it's another one of those bring in WCW wrestlers and just fuck them over. And I mean, I'll give you this. Goldberg did have a couple title runs in his first part of WWE, I guess. But, I mean, this one was just god-awful. You know, it was okay until the end. I think the end was a complete waste of fucking time. But you had Triple H, Goldberg, Chris Jericho, Kevin Nash, Shawn Michaels, and Randy Orton. And, you know, it was fine and everything. You have Goldberg eventually come in, and he is getting wrestlers left and right. And then when it's time for Triple H to come in, it's like Triple H just stalls, you know, flips him off, whatever. And then somebody, you know, takes out Triple H, and Triple H is just lying there, and, you know, Goldberg finally gets his, goes to spear Triple H and gets whacked with the fucking sledgehammer. And then, of course, Triple H retains the title. And him and Ric Flair and Evolution do a beatdown on Goldberg, and it was the worst fucking excuse for a finish. So you're telling me that you took a guy from WCW, you brought him to WWE, and he did The Rock in, he did Chris Jericho in, but as soon as he gets his hands on Triple H, he fucking loses. You know, every person that was fed to Triple H, Scott Steiner, Booker T, and all those guys got fucking annihilated by Triple H and that Sting. And now, you know, you get Goldberg, who, you know, supposedly one of the toughest guys, and, you know, gets beaten, you know, after jackhammer every wrestler in the match. It was a pathetic excuse, and yeah, I know he got the title at Unforgiven and whatever, but it was a shitty way to end this show, and it was, you know, at the time I was pissed off, and it's still irritating to this day, obviously. You know, it was just one of those things where, you know, that's what made it bad, I guess.
Yeah.
So, this was an interesting show. I mean, you think about it though, you look at what we did with the best and worst of WrestleMania. And I don't know why that was easier. This was definitely not, there wasn't really many worse matches. You know, and even if we did talk about the worst matches, they had some really good highlights.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's kind of the way it is, I guess.
For sure. This was an interesting episode. We got in what we wanted to get in. Both these videos are rather long, but I'm sure we can fix it. And not exactly sure quite yet what we're gonna do next week, but
well, I was just thinking about that. So it seems like I thought there was more Summerslams at the Berkeley Center. That's fucked up. Alright, so let's go this. So next week we're gonna talk about last year at the Berkeley Center. I know it's not, a look back, it's more recent, but yeah, I really thought there was more.
It's really only been recently that they've started going to the Barclays Center in Brooklyn.
Alright. So SummerSlam's in 3 weeks, or?
Yes.
So what I'm thinking is next week we'll do where it all began. SummerSlam 1988.
Yes.
And then the next week after that is going to be SummerSlam 2017. I know it's recent, but I had thought that there were more SummerSlams at the Barclays Center. I know that New York has hosted SummerSlam before, but we just talked about it tonight, so I really don't know what kind of detail we could do. But yeah, it's kind of, we'll do that, I guess, and then it'll be SummerSlam after that. So, there it is. So for me, Matt, this is Killer Kyle, and we will talk to you later.